Okay, we're back. Um, Sad I don't think I put sugar in my cookies this time. So, I'm eating these cookies with no sugar in them. Not a great feeling. Um, Lorwyn Eclipsed. All right, so we're on the fifth color. We've already done white, black, blue, green, red. The first one was a couple of hours. Some of them have been like an hour. I'm going to shoot for like an hour and 10 minutes, so I'll try not to be too verbose. What we're doing is we're ranking the cards 1 through 40. So it's a 268 card set. That means there's about 40 cards per color and then 68 or so multicolored cards. That's kind of the way it's worked out. So I'll be ranking these red cards 1 through 40. Oh, we got their elemental card right off the bat. Let's see, Ashling Rekindled. This is a rare. Sorry, just give me an R. There we go. Whenever this creature enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So it does what red likes to do. Let's look at the other side. It transforms. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you can transform this guy. If he's blue, you can transform to red using red mana, vice versa. Whenever this creature transforms into Ashling, and then they have these come into play effects. So all of these cards have these come into play effects, right? This one happens to be a 2 mana 1/3. Whenever this creature transforms at the beginning of your main phase, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast spells with mana value 4 or greater. So back to this theme of wanting to cast big things with elementals. I like it. He's kind of an interesting Merfolk Looter type card. I wouldn't say this is like completely game breaking. Has some mana acceleration and Merfolk looting kind of happening. I do like that you flip him back and forth depending on what you need, sort of. Um, it does take a mana investment to get mana back, which feels a little bit silly, but whatever. Um, I'm going to rank him number 9. That's probably for those of you who've been following, for rares and stuff, that's kind of at the bottom of the rare pile for draft, right? We're just talking about draft. So you're going to pick this guy somewhere between pick 2 and 5. He's not super exciting. It's not a game-breaking card. I felt like the Brigid was much better. Boldry Aggressor, which got a giant warrior. 2/5 for 5, double strike. Other giants you control have double strike. Okay. That's pretty nasty. So, for double strike, you could basically say he's a 4/5 for 5. Helps the other giants. If you're running a giant deck, maybe, with pump abilities, obviously this guy can get out of control, but let's see, he's uncommon. We're going to rank him around 34. You're going to pick this guy somewhere in the 5 to 15 range, like very late in the draft. The 5 mana slot is usually pretty competitive. I mean, we haven't even got to the gold cards yet, remember? So, take these guys with a grain of salt. This creature gets +2/+0 for each other goblin you control. All right. I mean, so I think in general, you're going to see this guy be a 6/4, an 8/4, because this set is all about tribes or whatever, however you want to say it. Oh, by the way, this guy is a giant archetype. So they did make giants an archetype, but the competitive archetypes are Goblin. This is according to Wizard of the Coast, not just my analysis. It's Goblin, Merfolk, Kithidin, or whatever the other one is, Elves, and Elementals. Those are the 5. So we have giants and tree folks, and that's all nice, and the vivid, and those are all nice, but those aren't the main archetypes. The main archetypes are the 5 I just mentioned. So this guy's called the Bone Club Berserker. He's a common. The 4 mana slot is competitive. I'm going to put him at 33. Just not going to be super interested in grabbing this guy. Somewhere between 6 and 15. Goblin. I mean, we all play 4 mana spells, but it's a competitive slot. Boulder Dash. Boulder Dash deals 2 damage to any target and 1 damage to any other target. Okay, this is nice. And I have seen a lot of 1 defense creatures in the set, so this could probably often get to a 2 for 1. It is a sorcery, but we'll take it. We'll say that's number 13. Draft pick. Somewhere in the 4 to 8 range. Maybe 3 to 8 range. You're going to take it pretty early, I think. I mean, it's just a nice double hit. I really do feel like, especially with Blight, people are going to have 1 defense creatures running around, and they're not going to be happy when they get smashed by that. Brambleback Brute. This creature enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. Remove a counter from this creature. Target creature can't block this turn. Ugh. So 2/3 for 3 has a somewhat interesting ability in that it can grow to a 4/5 fairly quickly while removing blockers. Brambleback Brute. All right, so that's a common. We'll rank it at number 31. It's in the 30s. Somewhere from 7 to, I mean, it's a 3-drop. Okay, we'll rank it a little bit higher for a 3-drop. 3-drops are important. Somewhere in the 4 to 10 range. He's a giant. I mean, the problem here is that you're basically saying, like, you're not going into goblins or something. So, like, if you want to be in goblins or if you want to be in elementals, you're going to want to grab those cards well before you grab this. So that's why I'm kind of putting him maybe at a little bit higher. He's just not in the popular tribes, so I don't think he's highly desirable. Burning Curiosity. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may blight 1. Exile the top 2 cards of the library. If the spell's additional cost is paid, exile the top 3 instead. Until the end of the turn, you can play those cards. Very, very, very sus. Curiosity. Not super happy about this one. I'm going to put it at 39. We'll actually put it at 40. The idea that this card is going to be useful. Not going to happen. Absolute steamer. Champion of the Path. As additional cost to cast a spell, behold an elemental and exile it. Okay, this is a rare. Whenever another elemental you control enters, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. When this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card. And it's only 4 mana. See what I mean? The 4-mana slot is competitive. This card is massively powerful. Rare. We'll rank it. We'll rank this number 4. This is our first pack one, pick one. He's an elemental, so that is one of the main tribes. Sounds weird, but the red blue deck is a main show. Cinder Strike. As additional cost to cast a spell, you may blight 1. Cinder Strike deals 2 damage to our creature. It deals 4 damage to that creature instead if the spell's additional cost was paid. Nice. This is a really nice little shock. Only hits creatures, but it's a sorcery, but it could do a blight. And sometimes blighting is helpful too. So common. I'm going to draft this aggressively. We'll put it 12. We'll put it up there with Boulder Dash, a little bit higher maybe. Drafting this fairly early, maybe 2 to 8 slot. Just those 1-mana removal spells are really nice. Collective Inferno, Convoke. As this enchantment enters, choose a creature type, double all damage that sources of the chosen type would deal. Okay, I've said this before. This might as well say all your creatures deal double damage because you're gonna name goblins or you're gonna name elementals, and most of your creatures are gonna be those. It's not like double strike, but it is double damage. Rare. It's tough for me to say. I don't want to say this is automatically a high pick. But it has a lot of potential. I'm just thinking, like, if it was an enchantment on 2 different creatures, how would I feel about that? We're going to rank this 22. Draft pick, somewhere in the 1 to 7 range. Yeah, if you're running a goblin deck, probably draft this thing kind of highly because you're going to want to do a lot of damage, and you've got a lot of goblins to do damage with. Sadly, it seems to be better for bigger creatures, and the bigger creatures are not the creatures you necessarily need to do a whole bunch more damage with. It's like if you've got a bunch of 1/1 goblins, then suddenly they become 2/1s. Like, it's not super exciting. Collective Inferno is a tough one. It's a big time Gambit card. And Gambits are generally considered, I think, generally for me, Gambits are not great investments. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 black and red goblin. Okay. Elder Auntie, common. This is just an really average 3-drop. Probably picking it somewhere in the 5 to 10 range. It is a goblin. Good enough. Endblaze Epiphany. Endblaze Epiphany deals X damage to target creature. When that creature dies, exile any number of cards in the top of your library equal to the power, and then choose a card to exile this way. Until end turn, you can play that card. Another like not so exciting card. It's a rare. I'm going to put this sort of low. Dealing X damage to a creature is like not super exciting. This is not a super exciting piece of removal. I'll rank it number 20. Somewhere in the 3 to 10 range. Red is looking a little bit underpowered so far. Vivid, uncommon. This creature deals X damage to target creature, where X is obviously the vivid thing. Yeah, very strong. So on average, it's going to be like 2, right? You're going to have a red card in whatever your other color is. But if it's in a vivid deck, then it does a lot more damage. I don't know. We'll rate it a little bit higher than the Emblaze Epiphany. He is an elemental as well, which helps. Somewhere in the 4 to 10 range. Explosive Prodigy. Oops. Elemental. Oops. Elemental. All right. Next card. Feed the Flames. Deals 5 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile instead. Okay, this is more my style for trying to get some removal in the deck. It's common. Let's rank this 18. Somewhere in the 3 to 10 range. Just decent removal. Nothing groundbreaking there, but you do need removal in your deck. You're going to see flyers, you're going to see fatties that you need to remove. This creature gets +1/+0 and gains menace until end of turn. Is that a bear? Another elemental. Flame Chain Mauler. Common. I'm going to rank this guy 23rd. 5 to 10. Now, you need lots of 2-drops in the deck. So that's why you draft him kind of highly as opposed to the 4-drops, right? Because you need a lot of this. It's not like a super competitive slot. Anybody that you get that's a 2-mana drop, you kind of want them. They're your early recruits, right? To give you your early board presence, Add 2 mana of any color. Spend this only to cast elemental or activate. Okay, so this is the elemental bear. But for an elemental deck, that's pretty good. Flame Braider. It's uncommon. We'll rate this guy a little bit higher than the other thing. We'll do it at 21.5. We'll rank it higher than the Collective Inferno. This you'll draft anywhere from 4 to 10 range. It's an elemental. Yeah. I think in an elemental deck, you might also be running a lot of fairies and stuff too. But I guess you can't use that for fairies, so who knows. Trample. When this creature enters, create a treasure token. Okay, so it's the 4 mana slot. Gives you a token. He's an elemental, so you got to give him a little break. Guild Weaver, common. We'll put him up at 28. Somewhere in the 6 to 12 range. Like I said, the four mana slot's probably going to be too competitive. You probably won't be able to run him a lot unless you just really want those elementals in the deck. Giant Fall. Choose one. Target creature control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls, or destroy target artifact. So remember Shatter in the original Magic set was just destroy an artifact for 1 red, 1 colorless. This is a big upgrade on that. You get to attack something. Destroy target artifact. We don't know how good the artifacts are, but the fight ability is always good, and it's an instant. So we'll rank this kind of high. Giant Fall, uncommon. We'll put this at 17. Somewhere in the 2 to 10 range. It might go kind of late because it only hits creatures, but everything only hits creatures these days. Few things go to the dome. Goat Nap. Gain control of target creature until end of turn, and tap that creature. It has haste. If that creature is a goat, it also gets +3/+0. That's just silly. But we'll work on changelings. So if you could grab a changeling, could be kind of silly. Goat Nap. This might work good with blight effects too. You grab a creature and then just blight it up and kill it or something. Depending on how much blight you have in your deck, this could be just straight up removal. Therefore, I'm going to put it kind of highly. Normally, I don't put these cards that highly. I'll put it at number 30. Somewhere in the 7 to 15 range. It'll go late, but we're ranking it kind of high because of shapeshifting and because of blighting. Like, there's not a lot of sack abilities, but there's definitely blighting abilities in this set. Goliath Daydreamer. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, exile that card with a dream counter on it instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. Whenever this creature attacks, you may cast a spell from among it, exile with dream counters on them without paying its mana cost. I'm confused, man. Does that mean if I put a really cool spell on him, does that mean he does it every time? Let's just go find out. How does Goliath Goliath Daydreamer work? Whenever the Goliath, you can cast a spell from among the cards in your exile with dream counters on without paying its mana cost. Because you cast them for free, it significantly reduces the mana cost of the exiled spells, making them much more efficient. Um, Okay, so I think it just gets you a double cast out of it. So you get the first effect, and then because he was daydreaming, suddenly it comes out again. This guy is wild. Um, oh, sorry, because it says as it resolves. So that's okay. I told you the 4 mana slot is very competitive. This is a highly, highly desirable card. We'll say this is number one. I mean, it just forks everything you have, basically. He's a big body. He's not a bad deal for 4 for 4, and then his card value is just really insane. Blight 1, discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Um, Not super excited about the Goblin. Is it Goblin Glutton? Gristle Glutton. Common. We'll give him a little bit of slack because he is a goblin. And we need goblins anyways, but somewhere in the 6 to 15 realm. As far as merfolk looters go, this guy doesn't seem great. Like, he's got the merfolk looting ability, but one, it costs, oh no, it doesn't cost mana, but it costs a blight. If you need blights to execute other things that need blights, great. But he seems a little weak. And I don't think goblin decks are looking for complicated blight counter effects. But we don't know. We haven't even seen the gold cards yet, so we don't know. Hexing Squelcher, rare, 2/2 for 2. Oh, this guy. Yeah, from what I understand, he's supposed to be a great commander card because commander people like to be obnoxious. Um, but in draft, he's just like an above average 2-drop. We'll put him at number 7. Draft pick. Somewhere in the 1 to 3 range. Maybe 1, yeah, I mean 1 to 3 range. I mean, you're not going to take any other goblin over this goblin, obviously. You can take as many 2-drops as you want, and you're going to probably run them all. That's the reality. So having a really good one in there is going to help you. Wait, what happened here? That was the Hexing Squelcher. Impolite Entrance. Target creature gains trample and haste until end of turn. Draw a card. It's probably one of the worst ones of these I've ever seen. I'll put it at number 40. Anywhere in the 10 to 15 range. I mean, the problem is like, you need to be drawing cards. You need to be drawing stuff that affects the board, that gets on the board, etc. This whole I'm going to draw a card thing, and I'm not adding any value to that creature other than giving it haste and trample for 1 turn, doesn't seem great. Kindred sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it has haste. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this token. Flashback. Behold 3 elementals. Okay. So it's another Gambit sort of card. If you're doing elemental things, could be good, especially if your card has come into play effects. My guess is this is somewhat late in the draft. Kindle the Inner Flame, uncommon. Let's put it at number 35. Somewhere in the 10 to 15 range. Yeah, I don't think this is necessarily your card. That's not the base of the deck. Let's just say that. You want to get your base of your deck down before you start adding, bells and whistles like that. When this creature enters, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Land cycling. Discard this card, search for a basic land, and reveal it and put it in your hand. I've seen this before. This guy who will give you your off color. Korath Zealot. Common. Maybe good for vivid decks too, if you're doing red, green, vivid. We're going to put him pretty highly just because he's mostly just till the end of your next turn you may play that card. That's good, but still he's expensive. We're taking him late, maybe 8 to 13 range. Elemental. Lasting Tarfire. At the beginning of each end step, if you put a counter on a creature this turn, this enchantment deals 2 damage to each opponent. So basically, if you have a way to blight, you are going to be doing 2 damage a turn with this guy. I'm drafting it late. Uncommon. I'm going late with this. I'm calling bluff on this blight ability. I haven't seen a whole lot of amazing blight stuff going on, but I could be wrong. There's definitely a lot of decks that aren't going to want to use something like this. Lava Leaper. All creatures have haste, including your opponent's creatures. Whenever a player taps a basic land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. So he's a Concordant Crossroads and he's a Mana Flare. By the way, people want to know, Concordant Crossroads was a legend card that gave all creatures haste. Here we go. The original legends. And, in our foolishness back in the day, we would run this card in really fast decks. And because things like Wrath of God and stuff were sorcery speed, you'd get a chance to smash with your Curd Ape or smash with your Urnham Djinn before your opponent untapped. And it was pretty effective, I'll admit it, because your opponents, a lot of times, they would run creatureless decks, right? And so Concordant Crossroads was pretty good. your mana birds, you could spend 1 to bring out a mana bird and then tap the mana bird for bringing out another thing, you know? Look at $63. This was a very popular card. So he does that, and it's a mana flare. If anybody doesn't know what mana flare is, here's the original. Everybody gets double mana out of their mana. So, very interesting. I don't know that it's good for Unlimited. Lava Leaper, rare. I'm gonna put it kind of low, maybe 36, because it's in a competitive slot, the 4-drop, and it's not a good 4-drop. Giving your opponent more mana and more haste isn't good. Just because this guy has haste doesn't necessarily mean, you know, that you want your opponent to have haste, right? He is an elemental, which helps a bit, but generally I think in the 8 to 15 range. He's kind of a steamer. Meek attack. You may put a creature card with total power and toughness 5 or less from your hand on the battlefield. That creature gains haste. Oh, this is epic Steamerville. Meek attack, mythic. We'll put this at 41. This is the last thing you want to draft. Absolute steamer. For draft, anyways. I don't know. It could be great and constructed. Could be lots of decks to build with that. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. Create a treasure. The fact that it creates a treasure is kind of cool. Sacking is not great in this. Reckless Red. Look at this fucking art, man. Yeah, common. I'm taking him kind of late. I'm thinking he's ranked. We'll say 31.5. And we'll draft him somewhere in the 8 to 15 range. Just because that effect isn't always super helpful. Having a token might be nice. It gets you an off color, you know, might give you a splash. In the right deck, that Reckless Ransacking could be really good, but you don't have to worry about taking it early. There's not going to be a lot of competition for that card. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may Blight 1. If you do, create a treasure. Okay. So this guy is going to help you cast stuff, help you create blights if you want, and he's a 3/2 for 2. Scuzzback Scrounger. Rare. We'll put him in the top 10. Goblin. It's a good goblin. 3/2 for 2, and he's an ability that's nice, you know. Seer. Seer deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Okay. This is good. Uncommon. I'll rank this highly. We'll put it at 12.5. I'm going to have to redo all of these because I see there's already a 12 on here. Cinder Strike was 12, so we'll put it right there with Cinder Strike. Draft pick. Somewhere in the 2 to 7 range. Fairly early. You're going to grab it because it's instant speed, it's removal, and it's versatile, right? If you don't know if you're goblins or elementals yet, you'll grab this here. And obviously, like, look, this is all about pack 1. Obviously, in pack 2, things are completely different. Like, in pack 2, you know what your deck is, and you kind of know what you need to draft aggressively. So you kind of have to throw all this out the window in pack 2, you know? Sizzling Changeling. When this creature dies, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Okay, shapeshifters are good. Like I just said, these are for pack 1, you know, so Changeling, I would take this kind of high. I would say maybe 18. 3 drops are kind of good. Somewhere in the 3 to 8 range. Shapeshifter. Shapeshifters in 3 drops are really nice because you don't have to commit to a specific thing. So you take a shapeshifter, you take a removal, you took a red bomb maybe, and then all of a sudden you get past a goblin or you get past an elemental. Depending on what you're getting past, that's what you're probably going to take, right? So you get an elemental on your 4th pick and you're like, okay, I'll go into elementals now because I got the shapeshifter and I got the removal, you know. And then you're already on your way to making a very strong deck, right? And you know that you're probably going to get past more elementals because the guy didn't take the elemental, right? As additional cost to cast this spell, Blight X. X can't be greater than the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Oh. Soul Immolation deals X damage to each opponent and each creature they control. Oh! Because it says each creature they control, this happens to be really good. Mythic. We're going to put this highly. We're going to put this as number 2. After that giant, whoever that giant, the Goliath Daydreamer. We'll put it after the Goliath Daydreamer. But, you know, it might be above the Goliath. Put this number 1. We'll put the Goliath Daydreamer number 2. Because this sort of effect, it just wins the game, to be honest with you. Even though it's expensive, like if you've got enough toughness on a creature, you're going to kill everything they have. Then you win. What else is there to say? You kill all their stuff and you win the game. So it's really hard to. And if you're playing elementals or something, you're gonna have a lot of fatties. You know, those elementals are very fat. Soulbright Seeker. As an additional cost to cast a spell, behold an elemental. 1 red. Target creature control gains trample until end of turn. If this is the 3rd time this ability is resolved, this turn add 4 red. I'm confused. Does that mean you get infinite mana? I'm very confused. Each time the active ability counts. Copies of the ability count towards the total. If you flicker, exile, and turn your Soulbright Seeker, it becomes a new object and activity set. In essence, it's a creature that generates value trample under specific conditions. So nobody seems to think that this is going to create infinite mana. It's not the hold card, but it's a 2/1 for 1, uncommon, and it's an elemental. Really, people are calling it a really bad mana dork, but it's a 2/1 for 1. So I'm willing to put it up high. Oh, we already have a 7. Let's put it number 8. Say you're going to take this somewhere in the 2 to 6 range. Elemental. I'm a little bit confused about that one. People are right to doubt its abilities because it doesn't sound like it has a great ability. When this creature enters, you may blight 2. If you do, create 2 1/1 black and red. Oh, I get it now. I get it now. So if this is the third time, so the third time only happens once, right? Because you could do 4, 5, 6 times, but the third time already happened. So I was not thinking right. So it only works on the third time. All right, back to this. When this creature enters, you may blight 2. If you do, create 2 1/1 black and red goblins. All right, that's good. I like the option to blight, and I like a goblin. Not happy about the 4-drop, but okay. Sour bread, Auntie. Aunties seem to be like really big in this. Rank. We'll put it in the 25-ish range. You're gonna draft this guy somewhere up in the 4 to 12 zone, I think. Pick 4 to 12. I mean, he's a goblin, or she's a goblin, but it's really a competitive slot. It'd be nice if you were able to create 2 goblins out of that, but you're not always going to be able to do that. In those cases, it's just a 4/3 for 4. Let's see. Spine Rocked Tyrant. Flying Wither. Whether you cast an instant or sorcery spell with a single target, you may copy it whenever you cast. If you do, those spells gain Wither. You may choose new targets for the copy. Okay. That's sick. Okay, just a flying 6/6 for 5. Like that just ends drafts. And plus its ability is sick. So this is what I mean. Your 4 and 5 drops are very competitive. Like this is the guy you want, right? We'll put him number 3 because we already have a 1 and a 2. Although the 2 was the Goliath Daydreamer. Is this better than the Goliath Daydreamer? I'm guessing not, because the Goliath Daydreamer has more ability to like pick and choose when it works. It only works when it attacks. while this just copies things willy-nilly on the go. And also the Goliath Daydreamer is a 4-drop, while this is a 5-drop, technically speaking. To Dragon. We got 4 more cards, roughly. Yep, exactly 4. Squawk Roaster. If anybody was wondering what they did with all those chocobos they created in Final Fantasy, they've become Squawk Roasters, my friends. Double Strike. The power is equal to Vivid. Okay. This is an elemental. Total Steamer. Squawk Roaster. Uncommon. I'm gonna take this kind of late. Maybe even in the 39 range. I'm sorry, take this kind of late. Maybe in the 10 to 15 range. It's an elemental, but it's a competitive slot. There's not going to be many Vivid decks going around. From what I can tell, Vivid is going to be a very hard thing to run. I could be completely wrong. It could be the most popular thing in the set, and there definitely is going to be overpowered people drafting Vivid. But I don't think that it's a big deal. Blight 1, this creature deals 2 damage to each opponent. Interesting. I like it. For the 3-drop, I like it. Sting Slinger. Uncommon. So we'll put it kind of high. We'll put it 26.5. I don't know if we have one at the 26 range. I'm also feeling the red cards are a bit underpowered. I'm really curious to see what's in gold, because so far, except for white and maybe blue, the green-black seemed pretty strong. The elementals seem a little weak. Goblins seem a little weak. I'm still feeling that. I feel like it's Kitkins, Merfolk, Elves, and maybe even switch that to Kitkins, Elves, Merfolk, Goblins and Elementals, somewhere together. Somewhere in the 4 to 10 range, Goblin. I like 3-drops. I mean, you don't want an infinite amount of 3-drops like you do 2-drops, but I like 3-drops. Tweeze deals 3 damage to any target. You may discard a card if you do draw a card. Okay. Tweeze is nice. Common. We'll put it up at number 17. Do we have a 17 yet? Yeah, we do. We'll put this at 17.5. And say you draft this in the 2 to 7 range. It's nice removal. It has a decent ability. Warren Torchmaster. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may Blight 1. When you do, target creature gains haste until end of turn. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. Warren Torchmaster. And he is a uncommon rank. We'll put him 22 because he is a we already have a 22. We'll put it 22.5 because he is a goblin and he's a bear. You're probably going to take him fairly early, 4 to 8 range. Goblin. I mean, the goblin deck has to be aggressive, you know. Yeah, it's just the way I draft. to be honest, you know. So what we do here to get these ranks to work is, first of all, we got to freeze the first row. And then sort this row, and we'll delete everything, and then we'll just drag this down. That's not what I was trying to do. 1, 2, 3. That was interesting. All right. Since we have 39 cards, well, that's right. It's 39 because 40, and then there's the one row. So there you go. There's our rankings. So let's just go back over it since we have some time. Soul Immolation was number 1. Wait, where's Soul Immolation? Let's go to red. Soul Immolation was number 1. This is the thing that kills all their stuff. Goliath Daydreamer was number 2. That's the guy who copies spells. He's a 4/4 for 4, and he copies spells and only you can cast them by choice whenever you attack. It's just like an option. They just sit in exile whenever you attack with him. Spine Rock Tyrant was number 3. This was the huge ass dragon, of course. He's number 3. Forks everything you do. The Champion of Path was number 4. This was the elemental who makes all your elementals into flame tongue Kavus against the opponent, basically. Very sick. The Hexing Squelcher was number 5. This is the guy who gives all your guys ward, basically makes it hard for them to hit your guys, gains you a bunch of life. Touchdowns are counters. I don't know if that's going to be helpful, but Scuzzback Scoundrel. Sorry, Scuzz. Scuzzback Scoundrel is number 6. This is the 3/2 for 2 that has a blight ability. It's a nice little bear. Gets your deck going. Number 7 is the Soulbright Seeker. This is the 2/1 for 1 that might get you more mana or might not. Ashling Rekindled. This is the 1/3 for 2 that has the ability to like kind of merfolk loot and create more mana at the same time. For big spells, for elemental spells. Kind of cool. Cinder Strike is number 9. This is the one that gives you probably a 2 for 1 because there's so many 1/1s running around. And then Seer is number 10. So your 4 mana damage spell. And yeah, that's the top 10 red draft cards.